Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mavis Training Center and to the Events Management Services NC3. By the way, I am Edlin Masinsin, your trainer for today. But before we start, may I know who are present today? So kindly raise your hand as I call your name. Trainee number 1, trainee number 2. And now we are done. Thank you everyone for taking the attendance. So moving forward, let me give you a brief background about Mavis Training Center. Mavis Training Center was established in April 2023 and it is a TESDA accredited institution specializing in technical education. So our focus is on empowering individuals through our events management services NC3 program, equipping with essential skills for a successful career in event planning and management. So is there any questions or clarification regarding Mavis Training Center? If none, we can now proceed to the next page. So this is the layout or the workshop layout and the floor plan of our training center for us to easily familiarize with the areas where we are right now. So if you are coming from the toilet, you can see the practical work area located beside the laboratory. And in front of the practical work area is the contextual learning area, where the learning takes place when we are able to present information in such a way that students are able to construct meaning based on their own experiences. Okay? As I have started our session for today, let us all first thank the Lord for this wonderful opportunity that He has given us for this training. And Amen. So, for us to effectively facilitate and guide all of you through the learning process, first I need to know a little bit of information about you, your background, your skills, or your experiences, and any other information you want me to know. So, kindly finish these tools as I have gave it to all of you. So, we have it here the trainee's characteristics, the pre-test, and the self-assessment checklist. Please don't worry about the results because this will only help me to measure your capabilities, knowledge, and your current learning about event management services. So you have 10 minutes to finish it. Okay, is everybody done? If so, kindly pass all the papers in front. So thank you very much. So by the way, tomorrow you will be informed about the results of your pre-assessment you did earlier. Okay? And now, moving forward to our session, let me continue with the overview of our training, its context, and the principles. And now, the delivery approach of the training we are going to do is called the competency-based training, or what we call the CBT, which will focus on the development of the learner as a result of the training, meaning this will emphasize most of what the learners can do. And now for the next page, why do we think this kind of approach? Of course, so that education and training can keep pace with technology and customer requirements. And now for the 10 principle of competency-based training. 1. The training is based on curriculum developed from the competency standards. 2. Learning is competency-based or modular in structure. 3. Training delivery is individualized and self-paced, meaning to say learners have the flexibility to progress through the learning at their own pace. 4. Training is based on work that must be performed. So the training focuses on real-world tasks and responsibilities that are relevant to the profession or industry. 5. Training materials are directly related to the competency standards and curriculum. 6. Assessment of learners is based in the collection of evidences of work performance based on industry or organizational required standards. 7. Training is based on and off the job components. 8. The system allows recognition of prior learning or DRPL. So meaning to say, learners can receive credit for skills and knowledge they have already acquired through work experience or previous education. 9. The system allows for learner to enter and exit the programs at different times and levels and to receive an award for competencies attained at any point. And the last is approved training programs are nationally accredited. And now for our CBT process flow. So when a trainee officially enrolls in a program, they are given a proper orientation during which the trainees and the trainer's tasks are explained. So learning activities are structured in accordance with the provided training needs. So the trainer then introduces the competency-based learning materials, gives instruction, and the trainee selects a competency. Achievement charts and progress reports are used to track the trainees' learning as they complete all the learning activities. So these are the learning activities. And the trainer provides feedback and helps the learner as needed after completing the learning procedures to a satisfactory level. So the student tries to complete the task to show competency while the instructor observes and rates them. So the trainee evaluates their own work as well. So if the trainee did not pass, he or she will go back to the previous activities. If yes, then the learner proceeds to institutional assessment. So after demonstrating competence in a satisfactory way. So if not, then the trainee will just repeat the process until they pass the institutional assessment. So it is advised that the student take the national assessment following successful completion of the institutional assessment before leaving the program. And of course, as a trainer, I am your facilitator. So my role is to guide and assist you through the learning process. So I am also your mentor, your managers of learning, your counselor. So my role is to provide support and guidance on both academic and can be in personal matters. I am also your evaluator, so my role is to assess and evaluate your progress and performance because your evaluation will help you understand your strengths and areas of improvements. I am also your learner's assistant, the module planner, and of course, the last is your role model. And of course, your role as trainees. So first, you may select what you want to learn and when you want to learn it. And of course, learn at your own rate within program guidelines. You have the flexibility to progress through the training program at your own pace. And you may also request to receive credit for what you already know. And you may choose how you want to learn it. And last is you are responsible for what you learn and when you learn it. So you are accountable for your own learning. You have the responsibility to actively engage with the materials, set goals for your learning progress, and also to decide when to cover specific topics or skills. Okay, is there any questions or clarifications? If none, let's now proceed to the next slide. So earlier, I have mentioned about the CBLM or the competency-based learning materials. So what does it mean? CBLM is simply a well-designed and carefully developed learning materials that give trainees detailed instruction to guide them through the learning process. So these are the media that contain information related to the work requirement. And of course, these are the learning that is guided toward achieving the competency required in a workplace. Next, these are the tools that facilitate individual learning process. And last is these are the instruments that measure the competency required in the workplace. And of course, there are different forms of learning materials, which are the following. So first is the learning guides, the assessment materials, the workbook with activities, tasks, and content, the background reading materials or the documents, handouts, and other audiovisual materials, industry competency standards, and last is the organizational policies, procedures, or legislation. And for this, for the competency-based learning materials, these are the information sheet, the self-check, the operation sheet, the job sheet, the task sheet, and the performance criteria checklist. So, in the events management services, there are 9 CBT areas or workstations. And these are the laboratory, the institutional assessment area, the practical work area, the trainer's resource area, the solid waste management area, the learning resource area, the contextual learning area, the distance learning area, and last is the support service area. So, are we clear? Okay, for our next slide. So, there is an evaluation system in the CBT, but it is not numerical. It is accomplished by stating whether you are competent or not yet competent. For not yet competent, this does not imply that you failed. Rather, it indicates that you still must attain further experience in the skills required in order to be considered as competent. Thus, your evaluation will consider your attitude, skills, and knowledge. And now for our pre-assessment result. Trainee number 1, based on the information gathered through the tools we used, you have the prior knowledge of the first 2 qualifying modules. Thus, kindly submit any certificates tomorrow to confirm the knowledge you have already learned. However, trainee number 2 is not yet familiar with the qualification. So, may I ask if you have any questions before we end up this session? If not, then I'll see you tomorrow for the actual lesson before moving on to the following learning activities. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of our training. Again, I am Edlin Masinsin, your trainer for today. But first, may I know who are present today? So kindly raise your hand as I call your name, trainee number 1, trainee number 2. And now we are done. Thank you everyone for taking the attendance. As I mentioned yesterday, trainee number 2 has no prior knowledge, so she will undergo and study the first core competency for events management services. So everyone, you may now proceed to the contextual learning area and for 30 minutes, read and study information sheet 1.1 and answer the questionnaire and do the self-check after. For trainee number 2, we will now start our lesson on the core competencies, and for today we will study about the planning and developing event proposal or bid, focusing on learning outcome number 1.2, which is the developing proposal and bid details. So while waiting, Please read information sheet 1.2 to 1 and answer the self-check for 10 minutes. So, are you done? How's the lesson? Did you understand it well? If not that much, then I'll show you a video presentation for you to watch and understand it more.
How to write a proposal. That's what we're going to talk about today.
So, how's it? Did it make you understand our lesson? Mm-hmm. Okay, then I'll show you more information about planning and developing event proposal or bid. First, let us know what is the meaning of event proposal or bid. So, of course, an event proposal or bid is a document that outlines the details of an event, and it is typically submitted to a potential client or organization seeking event services. It also serves as a formal request for consideration and approval to organize and execute a specific event. So, the proposal is essentially a persuasive document that aims to demonstrate the event planner's capabilities, the creativity, and the understanding of the client's needs. So, here are the brief description of our key components typically found in an event proposal. So, we have it here the event overview. So, this section provides a brief yet detailed overview of the event, including its purpose, the goals, and the key features. Next is the event concept. So the event concept outlines the creative vision for the event. It includes the details about the theme, the ambience, and the overall experience for attendees. Next is the budget. So the budget section breaks down the estimated cost associated with the various aspects of the event. It also includes the line items for venue rental, the catering, decorations, entertainment, and any other relevant expenses. A well organized budget helps the client understand the financial aspects of the proposed event. Next is we have it here the event timeline, the event team or the suppliers, and of course the previous event experience for the reference of the client. And now that you have learned about creating an event proposal or bid, let me see how you do it in 10 minutes. So imagine that you are an event planner assigned to meet with a potential client who is interested in organizing a wedding. So your task is to conduct a client consultation meeting with your fellow trainees, playing the role of the client for their wedding. Okay, trainee number one. Even though I saw a bit of hesitation on your performance, you still performed the task satisfactorily. So you are now eligible to take the institutional assessment. So, congratulations. Good morning, trainees. Again, welcome to day 3 of our training. And for today, I will conduct the institutional assessment for trainee number 1 on the core competency of event management services NC3. But before we proceed, let me check your attendance. Okay, thank you very much. So in order for me to assess you, we will be doing a 3 methods. First, you need to take the written exam and answer it for 30 minutes. Okay, time is up. Next is you need to perform the task listed in the task sheet. So you have 3 hours to do it, and you may now proceed to the practical work area. Since the time is up, I will now ask you some questions regarding on the event proposal you have accomplished to determine your current skills and knowledge about event management services. Question number 1. So, what event has more risk? Indoor or outdoor? How will you prevent or minimize this? Mm-hmm. Okay. Question number 2. So, where do creative abilities show? In the event concept or stage setup? Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you so much, trainee number 1. Let me tell you what I have observed in our assessment. In your written exam, you answered 83% correctly. For your demonstration, I have observed that you did not implement the occupational health and safety. Still, you were able to achieve the objectives and goals of the given task. While in oral questioning, I am really satisfied with your answers. So, you answered all the questions very well. So, with all the results you have, you are considered as competent already. And since this is the last core of our Event Management Services NC3, I will now recommend you to take the national assessment. Congratulations! But before you leave, kindly answer the training session evaluation form for my reference. So this will help me conduct the training and the training sessions more effectively. Thank you. And again, congratulations and God bless to your national assessment. And that's all for today. Thank you everyone for listening.